Abdullah, Neville. The year is 1930. New York City. Snow in the streets, jazz in the air, and a young dancer named Neville. Broke, restless, hungry for meaning. He knocks on a door on West 72nd Street. Behind it stands a tall black man in a robe that looks both ancient and perfectly modern. Abdullah. And here's what's wild. Neville says from the first moment, Abdullah spoke like everything he said was already a done deal. He never asked, can you imagine? He said, you already are. Abdullah wasn't gentle. He'd cut right through your excuses. If you complained, he'd stare until you ran out of words, then say, stop talking about what you want. Live as though you have it. And you know what? He meant it literally. He lived that way. Neville once said, Abdullah lived in the end. Not someday, now. The first lesson hit like lightning. I am, Abdullah said, is the name of God. Think about that. Not in a churchy way. He's saying the I am that speaks inside you is the creative power itself. Attach anything to it, good or bad, and the world will bend to prove you right. I am tired. You'll find more tired. I am rich. You'll start noticing wealth. It's law, not luck. And Neville, still trying to wrap his mind around it, hears Abdullah say, stop watching the movie. Become the projector. I love that line, because once you get it, you can't unsee it. You realize the reel you're running in your mind is your life. Then Abdullah opens the Bible and flips the whole thing upside down. This, he says, is not history. It's psychology. Moses, Pharaoh, Jesus, David. These aren't people to worship. They're states of consciousness to enter. Egypt, he tells Neville, is bondage to your senses. The promised land is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And I'll be honest, when I first heard that, I paused the recording. Because if that's true, every page of scripture is a map of the mind, and every miracle is repeatable. Now comes my favorite part. The Barbados Experiment. Neville's homesick, no money. It's the depression. He goes to Abdullah like a desperate student looking for mercy. And Abdullah just says, you are in Barbados. That's it. Neville laughs, thinking he misheard. Ab says it again, calm, absolute. You are in Barbados. Then he tells him, sleep in Barbados tonight. Feel it, smell it, hear it. Walk the streets of home in your imagination. Neville does it for 2 weeks. And then, just as you'd expect in a zone of the unseen story, the bridge appears. A letter from his brother, money, a ship ticket, and when he boards, his coach ticket is upgraded to first class. When he tells Abdullah, the old mystic just grins and says, I told you, you went first class. And Neville said later, that's the night I stopped studying faith and started proving it. Years later, he uses the same law to get an early discharge from the army. He doesn't argue or plead. He imagines his friends congratulating him on his freedom, and the papers arrive. When it came to love, same principle. He stopped trying to change the other person. He changed the way he saw them. He lived from the end, already married, already chosen, and reality folded to fit the assumption. And every time that happened, it was another silent thank you back to Abdullah. Now here's the part that hits me hardest. After Barbados, Abdullah tells him, you will die. Not a threat, prophecy. The old Neville would die. The one who believed in lack. And he did. He came back different, fearless, free, certain. He also discovered the power to revise the past. Each night before sleep, he'd replay the day, not as it was, but as he wanted it to be. And somehow, when he woke, life matched the revision. He said, the subconscious does not care what's real or imagined. It only cares what you feel to be true. And man, if that's not freedom, what is? Here's the paradox that makes this story eternal. Abdullah gave the formula. Neville supplied the proof. Every demonstration was Neville walking back to his teacher saying, "It works." And that's what every master wants. Not applause, but evidence. A student who embodies the lesson. So now it's our turn. Let's run the same experiment. 1. Name the proof scene. 10 seconds that prove it's done. A text, a hug, a bank balance check. Whatever says yes. 2. Feel it in 3 senses. See it, hear it, touch it. 3. Get drowsy. Don't watch the movie, be in it. 4. Quit before strain. If you push, you're trying. If you stop, you're trusting. 5. Guard the day. When the mind asks, how? Smile and hear Abdullah's voice. It's done. The bridge is building. And maybe that's why we're all still listening to this story a century later. Because the law doesn't live in lectures. It lives in proof. The teacher gave the map. The student walked it. Until even the ground remembered his name. Now the map is in your hands. Next time on Zone of the Unseen, we open Abdullah's scriptural switchboard. The hidden meanings behind names like Moses, Pharaoh, and David, and how they move money, healing, and love. Until then, assume the end and let the world do the walking. In the zone of the unseen.